500 मॉडिफाई कर देने से विश्व गुरु नहीं बनेंगे आप।
He is not getting a chance or getting access to what is authentic Ayurveda.
The officials sitting at Delhi or in a AC cabin don't know what's reality at the ground level.
This is not Ayurveda, scientific Ayurveda, because scientific Ayurveda advocates principle-oriented diagnosis and principle-oriented treatment.
Good brains of each party who are responsible, who are academic, who are not politicians, and they can manage this.
आप WHO की बात इस पूरे देश पर थोप देंगे और होम्योपैथी, आयुर्वेद और नेचुरोपैथी को हमारे यहां मारेंगे, ये साजिश हम चलने नहीं देंगे। नमस्कार, रात के ठीक 9 बज चुके हैं। इंडिया डिबेट के साथ मैं आशुतोष पाठक हाजिर हूं। दोस्तों, आज हम आपके सामने एक महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे को ला रहे हैं और अपने देश के सनातनी प्रधानमंत्री जी से सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं। क्या हमारे देश के सनातनी प्रधानमंत्री के पास उस सवाल का जवाब है? देना तो पड़ेगा, और जब तक वो इस सवाल का जवाब नहीं देंगे, हम इस मुद्दे को उठाते रहेंगे। पूरे कोविड के दौरान जो तांडव किया फार्मा माफियाओं ने, उस सब से उबरने के बाद हमारी कोशिश है कि भारत की ज्ञान परंपरा को, भारत के ज्ञान की थाती को, जो हमारी शक्ति, हमारी पूंजी है, उसको पूरी दुनिया में प्रचारित किया जाए, प्रसारित किया जाए, उसका लोहा मनवाया जाए। पूरी दुनिया उसका लोहा मान भी रही है, लेकिन हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री सिर्फ बातों में उसका जिक्र कर देते हैं। हजारों वर्ष की सनातनी परंपरा का जिक्र तो वो करते हैं, आत्मनिर्भर भारत का जिक्र तो वो करते हैं, लेकिन अपने ही देश के लोगों के साथ वो भेदभाव कर रहे हैं। मुझे नहीं मालूम कि वो ऐसा जानबूझकर कर रहे हैं या ये गलती उनसे अनजाने में हो रही है, या उनके जो सलाहकार हैं वो उन्हें गुमराह कर रहे हैं। इस तीनों में जो सबसे पुख्ता बात हो सकती है वो ये कि उनके जो सलाहकार हैं वो उन्हें गुमराह कर रहे हैं। सलाहकार कुछ दुनिया के फार्मा के दलाल हैं जो उनका सलाहकार बन गए हैं और उन्हें गलत सलाह दे रहे हैं। वरना हमारे देश का प्रधानमंत्री यह नहीं जानता हो कि टेड्रोस कौन है। हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री को यह मालूम नहीं हो कि टेड्रोस का बैकग्राउंड क्या है। ऐसे टेड्रोस को हमारे देश का प्रधानमंत्री तुलसी भाई कह दें और यह सुनने के बाद हमारा देश गंवारा कर ले, उसको मान ले, यह मुमकिन है क्या? हां, मुमकिन है, क्योंकि आप किसी और युद्ध में लगे हुए हैं। आपके सामने हिंदू, मुसलमान, अग्रा, पिछड़ा, सवर्ण, दलित, अति दलित, इसके मुद्दे सबसे अधिक महत्वपूर्ण है। आपको नहीं मालूम है कि हमारा देश कैसे खिसकता जा रहा है, कौन उसके साथ समझौते कर रहा है। मैं हैरान हूं। हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री कह रहे थे, मैं देश नहीं झुकने दूंगा, मैं देश नहीं मिटने दूंगा। हमारा देश झुक भी रहा है और हमारा देश मिट भी रहा है। पल पल झुक रहा है, पल पल मिट रहा है। और आज हम आपको इसी का सबूत पेश कर रहे हैं। इतने सबूत के बाद भी हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री अगर अनुत्तरित हैं, उनके पास कोई जवाब नहीं है, तो आप समझ लीजिए कि हमने देश का सौदा कर लिया। और अगर देश के प्रधानमंत्री हमारे सवाल का जवाब देंगे तो हम मानेंगे कि वाकई में वो सनातन की रक्षा कर रहे हैं, हमारे ज्ञान की रक्षा कर रहे हैं, हमें विश्व गुरु बनाने पर तुले हुए हैं। 508 स्टेशन को मॉडिफाई कर देने से विश्व गुरु नहीं बनेंगे आप। आपकी सेहत के साथ खिलवाड़ किया गया। आपने टेड्रोस को तुलसी भाई कह दिया। जिस आयुर्वेद पे पूरी दुनिया की चिकित्सा पद्धति टिकी हुई है, जिस नेचुरोपैथ पर, जिस होम्योपैथ पर, अन्य विधाओं पर ये मॉडर्न साइंस टिका हुआ है, उसको आपने सबसे आगे खड़ा कर दिया और हमारी सबसे मजबूत साइंटिफिक वैज्ञानिक साक्ष्यों के आधार पर चलने वाला आयुर्वेद, उसके साथ आपने समझौता कर लिया। आपने जो कुकर्म किया है कोविड में, पूरी दुनिया ने उसे देखा है और आप कितना भी ढकेंगे हम उसको ढकने नहीं देंगे। आपने आयुर्वेदिक ट्रीटमेंट पर प्रतिबंध लगा दिया, आपने नेचुरोपैथी पर प्रतिबंध लगा दिया, आपने उन कानूनों का हवाला दिया जिस कानून को आप बदल सकते थे। आपके मंत्री जनविश्वास विधेयक लाते हैं फार्मा लॉबी के इशारे पर, फार्मा माफियाओं को रिलीफ देना चाहते हैं आप। इसलिए हमारे देश के सनातनी प्रधानमंत्री आपसे क्यूवाइव नेटवर्क आंख से आंख मिला करके यह सवाल कर रहा है कि हमारे आयुर्वेद को मारने का जो आपने प्रण लिया है, यह क्यों कर रहे हैं आप? किससे सौदा करके कर रहे हैं आप? हां, आप हमारे आयुर्वेद को मृत्यु की सैया पर लिटाना चाहते हैं, यही सच है। और इसी का सबूत आज हम पेश करेंगे हम अपने दो बड़े सुधी डॉक्टरों के साथ। सुदूर केरल से हमारे साथ जुड़ रही हैं डॉक्टर राम्या कृष्णन। बहुत स्वागत है डॉक्टर राम्या। आई वेलकम यू डॉक्टर राम्या। आई नो दैट यू आर अ प्रोफेसर ऑल्सो। आर यू गेटिंग माई वीडियो?
Yeah.
Are you able to join Dr. Ramya?
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
not getting you. Yeah, Dr. Ramya.
Thank
I
you.
welcome
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Ramya, on my show, India Debate. Dr.
Thank you.
Pradeep Sethia. Dr. Pradeep Sethia. I also welcome you, Dr. Sethia. Yesterday, in fact, I saw your dialogue in Doctor's Dialogue with our friend Dr. Gayatri Pandit Rao. And when I was listening Dr. Ramya and Dr. Pradeep Sethia, I was stunned completely. I was amazed. This kind of practice is going on in India. You are writing to Ayush Ministry, letter after letter. You are demanding your demand. Sending letters every day, sending emails, and you are getting no response. How come our Prime Minister is saying that our India is Vishwaguru? How come and how can? It is a bluff. It is a fraud on behalf of Prime Minister. Prime Minister himself is cheating the nation. And I am shouting because I cannot control my anger. Why I am shouting? Because the nation wants to know indeed that what our Prime Minister is doing, why he named Tedros as Tulsi. I want to know from Dr. Ramya, when you heard this statement from Prime Minister that he is calling Tedros Tulsi, what went in your mind? What you were thinking? Can you please share with our viewers, Dr.
Actually,
Ramya?
yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this. When you have asked me a question which is not related to my system, actually, but being a doctor of my medical system, what I feel is that Honorable Prime Minister is not getting proper access to what Ayurveda is originally. That is the basic problem what is pertaining now. Today what is prevailing now is that only, because he is not getting a chance or getting access to what is authentic Ayurveda. I cannot say what the reasons are. Perhaps the people who are working in between might have misled him about Ayurveda, whether Ayurveda is Ayurveda is being distorted as a tradition in front of him. Tradition is nothing called as science. Tradition is just a set of beliefs, culture, practices that is adopted by a group of people, their own way of adoption without any scientific background. Unfortunately, our Honorable Prime Minister came to know that Ayurveda is also a tradition. So this didn't happen in 1 year or 2 years. From I think about more than nearly 100 years, Ayurveda is being addressed as tradition. So we cannot expect one prime minister to change all of a sudden and call Ayurveda as science. So the problem is that when Ayurveda is addressed as tradition, whatever is addressed under the umbrella of tradition is applicable to Ayurveda also. Naturally, it is getting applicable to Ayurveda. So unfortunately, Ayurveda is losing all independence, all the freedom to execute its own rights, the doctors are not getting their own rights. We cannot adopt our own scientific methodology. We cannot adopt our own research methodology. We are not having any freedom. We are kept as slaves under WHO. That is the main thing which we are suffering from. Right from COVID. Before COVID also we were having this problem. When a pandemic emerges, we don't have pandemic or COVID-19 or anything. From the perspective of Ayurveda, we have been handling viral fevers from long period and we know how to handle infective fevers. From the perspective of Ayurveda, I am telling, we are focusing only on host factors. We know specific and specialized methods to modify the immune system, to stimulate metabolism, to stimulate anti-pathogen metabolic factors and destroy and drain off the virus, bacteria or whatever it is. We are having highly specific strategies to adopt. Our slogan is shut down virulence and cut down virus. So we can shut down virulence inside the body and we can destroy the pathogen. So there is no question of spread. So this kind of potential is there for Ayurveda, but I think Honorable Prime Minister is not getting access to authentic Ayurveda. So in order to make him understand, all that I can do is submit the proposal to my ministry. This is what me and my husband were doing. My husband is also Associate Professor of Ayurveda, Dr. Rajkumar. So we were giving so many proposals. We are kept as expert committee members also in standard treatment guidelines by Ministry of Health. So whenever we started speaking in a committee, then we are asked to just keep quiet and send the proposal. That's what happened. You just keep quiet now. There is no much time to discuss all this. We wanted to change everything. We don't want to implement modern research methodology in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is an independent science. Ayurveda has its own independent scientific infrastructure, research structure, clinical methodologies, everything. So why can't we adopt that? Why can't we establish ourselves as an independent medical system, which has got immense scope in primary and secondary healthcare? So with this objective only we have submitted the proposals. But unfortunately in the meeting we were asked to just keep quiet and send as mail. We were sending so many mails. Even during COVID time also we have sent COVID proposal, like Ayurveda proposal for COVID. So all these proposals, they are either they will ask us to adopt the Western research methodology. It is not possible because the nature of Ayurveda is entirely different. We cannot prove physics with biology or chemistry with history. Everything is independent and it has its own identity, right? So I will not blame Honorable Prime Minister for this because he is not getting, being not a medical person, he is not getting a proper authentic idea about what is Ayurveda. And unfortunately, the people who are making him know all this, they are distorting things, even from my own professional community. People are telling that Ayurveda is a tradition. Then how will Honorable Prime Minister know that it is not? So to validate, yeah.
Dr. Ramya, so you are giving him benefit of doubt, but I am not here to give him benefit of doubt. I totally agree with you that it has not happened in one day.
Yeah.
And previous Prime Minister of India, what they did for Ayurveda, it is very much evident now. Earlier, Prime Ministers were making India as family fiefdom. So they treat it as fiefdom. They are fiefdom. So whatever they thought, they implemented. They thought that Ayurveda is of no use. So they destroyed Ayurveda. And they spread the masses of modern science. We are not against modern science at all. But today, even at this point in time, there is a press conference going on. One organization that is called Awaken India Movement, they are doing press conference from Mumbai, and it is going live. We are kept sending mails, document to the Ministry of Health, to ICMR, to IOS, to Prime Minister Office, but they never noticed our correspondence. Then I think that we are not against Prime Minister and Narendra Modi, we are against Prime Minister. How come a Prime Minister using the word Tulsi for Tedros? That's why we are saying that he must know that who is Tedros and on whom behalf he is acting. He is working a payroll employee of Gates, and he is knowing the fact. I cannot agree with you that he is not knowing the fact. If he is misled by the advisors, it is his fault, it is not ours. And if we are communicating with him, we are sending him all the messages and evidence, even then he is not ready to recognize our evidence. You are sending evidence, you are sending mail, you are sending request, and even in meeting you rightly said, you are being snubbed. So that has become the new normal governance of the government. Therefore, I am saying that we cannot give Prime Minister benefit of doubt. So, and I know that you are working in a government college, but stood up.
Yeah.
You stood up, please. And the time has come to take the chance and take the side. And I'm sure that you are taking side. So,
No,
Dr. Sethi, I'm just coming to you on other aspects, on scientific aspects, we shall have a greater dialogue. But on the onset of the debate, I would like to invite Dr. Pradeep Sethia. Pradeep ji, ye bataiye ki kya should we give or can we give benefit of doubt to the Prime Minister? Or should we raise this question? We should, in fact, need a proper answer from Prime Minister office.
Of course, now the language matters, whether we call him that he is responsible or not, that is one point. Secondly, all portfolios are not with Prime Minister of ours, basically. But then, as Madam has said, that the channel should be properly working in favor of different medical systems available in country, first of all. And secondly, the hierarchy is always ABC like this. From the very admissions to the medical colleges, to the freedom to the medical practitioners, things are not changing. We don't have that hierarchy of 1, 2, 3. We can have at par hierarchy with the limitations of each pathy, one. And secondly, the rules can be formulated by consensus, that what is my limitation, what is limitation of Ayurveda, what is limitation of modern medicine. If this integration sort of a word is to be used, it should be conveyed to the higher authorities by a people who are working at a grassroots level. The officials sitting at Delhi or in a AC cabin don't know what's reality at the ground level. People are not getting medicine at all. In that background, something is better, and that too which is given by a responsible doctor. So only I can do the things and others cannot do is a too extreme way of thinking the story, basically. Especially during COVID, we were insufficient and doctors have failed miserably in general to reach to a common man. They're rushing from one place to other. The lockdown has deprived their right to get a right treatment. All these things owe as a moral responsibility to a government who is looking after the medical aid. Now it's like we say moral responsibility, but it comes to a level who are implementing that. So ultimately it should go from that channel to a higher channel. And that's not happening, I feel.
Dr. Ramya, कल आप कह रही थी, मैंने आपके shows में देखा, you were discussing that this science should not be called traditional science. It is a complete science. When you use the tradition, it says that cultural, lingual, and multi-ethical, ethnical, many things comes. But when you say that it is a complete science, what you mean by saying this?
Yeah, actually, science as such, nowadays there are a lot of confusions, deviations happening for the definition of the very term science. Science as such is derived from a word scientia. Scientia means knowledge. It is nothing called like nowadays we know that we are learning science in school. We are learning physics, chemistry, biology, everything, mathematics, everything in school. So they are called as science. Why? Because there is a definite deterministic knowledge which explains the logics. Logics are there, theorems are there, algorithms are there, principles are there, which we can apply for problem solving, which means it is a body of knowledge which provide all these things, basic fundamental theorems or theories, logics, principles, laws to solve problems. So first we are learning science, then we are going to lab to verify the logics we are learning in the school or college. Whatever logics we are learning in theory classes, we are going to lab or we are going to experiment place, whichever it is. There we are verifying these logics, how far they are true. And then we understand, after practicals, we confirm. We are not ending with a probability, right? We are getting confirmed that this is like this only. So that kind of science, cause-effect relationship. For this cause, this mechanism and this effect. So cause, mechanism, effect relationship is proven and established in sciences of determinism. Determinism means when initial conditions are given and the premises means the logics which are applied are true, we can predict the effects also. What will happen by the cause and course of that particular experiment or method of adoption. So this kind of science is Ayurveda. Ayurveda explains theorems. There are no theories in Ayurveda, only theorems. Theorems means siddhantas. Siddhantas are defined in Ayurveda as parikshagir bahuvidam parikshya. The experiments are done by multiple scientists in multiple ways. Hedubir sadhayitva. They are being reasoned by logics. Sthapyade nirnayaha. Established by cause, mechanism, effect, relationship. So such kind of theorems, tattvas, etc. are the fundamental basis of application of science of Ayurveda. Today, everyone thinks that Ayurveda means Jadi Bhutiyam, all these grandma's medicine, all these things are Ayurveda. They are not Ayurveda. Ayurveda means science of life. It incorporates theorems, where, when, what, why, how here, how not there. There is no universal antidote for fever. There is no universal antidote for cold. You have to explore the patient. There are specific methods, inbuilt scientific methods to explore the patient, explore the disease, explore the diseases in the patient, explore the treatment. Treatment principles are there. It's not like choosing one medicine like paracetamol in fever or crocin in fever. It's not like Ayurveda is a highly intelligent science. Today's people cannot even imagine the intelligence of Ayurveda, really. That's why they are calling it as Jadi Bhutiyam or something, Kada, something like that. It is not like that. It has got a very brilliant science.
So Ramya, at the one hand, you are saying that the highly intelligent science.
Yeah.
And at the other hand, people say it is almost, it has almost negligible impact in emergency time.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate.
How come this narrative arrived?
That arrived mainly because of faulty education. I'm not feeling any sort of inhibition to tell the truth. Today, whatever pathetic situation is happening in Ayurveda, the number one cause is dangerously flawed education prevailing today. Today, we are not creating, being a faculty myself, I can confidently tell this. Today, we are not emerging doctors. We are emerging diffident people who are practicing mixopathy or who are practicing modern medicine. I mean, Ayurveda doctors practicing modern medicine or quackery. How can Ayurveda doctors practice modern medicine? That is what is called quackery or mixopathy. Many systems or diffident practitioners, they cannot treat their own fever or their own family with an infection. So that kind of pathetic situation is emerging.
The reason?
Number one cause, education.
What is the reason?
Yes.
What is the reason, Dr. Ramya? Why
That
they are
is
not able to treat their patient?
Yeah,
And they are using allopathic path.
Yeah, the thing is that we are following a very primitive curriculum. Primitive curriculum in the sense, many years before this curriculum of education is emerged, and still now we are following the same thing. We think that when we change our dress, dhoti to suit, we become modern. So just by what you call imposing modern research methodology, everything will become modern. That's what people are thinking. Actually, intelligence has to be cultured. It's not tools alone which are to be cultured. Intelligence of this learner can be cultured in the science only by changing curriculum. Changing curriculum in accordance to modern. What is viral fever? What is infective fever? In Ayurvedic perspective, nothing is taught. So
if
people
I will ask you, Dr. Ramya, if I will ask you, then why you are not using Sanskrit language? I'm sure that you must be a person of great education of Sanskrit too. Since you are doctor of Ayurveda, you must be knowing Sanskrit too. Then why you are not using Sanskrit language?
Actually, Sanskrit language in Ayurveda is meant to
understand. Language is also the symbol of knowledge. And English has a limitation.
Sanskrit in Ayurveda is meant to understand Ayurveda, the original intentions of Sanskrit verses of Ayurveda. Our entire science is written in 3 Samhidas, Charaka, Susruta and Ashtanga Sangraha. All these Samhidas are written in Sanskrit only. So the thing is that original intentions, Shastra Arthas, it's not mere translation. The original intentions of the science are to be taught and trained to the practitioners. We are conducting a program from 2015, me and my husband, called Wisdom Series, SBBA Wisdom Series, where we are all the students, BAMS students, faculties and doctors are joining our programs to understand the applied aspects of these scientific verses and to change their way of practice. Today, Ayurveda practice does not have any regulation. There is no regulation. Anybody can give anything. Anybody can diagnose anything as anything and give any medicine as anything. There is no clinical audit in Ayurveda. It's a very dangerous way of going today. That is why Ayurveda is unfortunately kept under the umbrella of traditional medicine and we are made as slaves to WHO. This is happening by innate cause.
डॉक्टर सेठिया, क्या आपको लगता है कि what Dr. Ramya said, are you in a position to tell that yes, we are the intelligent science, we are the perfect science, we cannot compete, we are far ahead of modern science, so-called modern science allopathy, you are far ahead and you are able to treat patient even in emergency time? So there is a myth that Ayurveda cannot treat their patient in emergency time. Only allopathic doctors and modern science and modern surgeon can treat them. What is the real picture? अगर आप ये बताएं आज, तो प्रधानमंत्री जी को आज हम ये सवाल पूछ रहे हैं, प्रधानमंत्री तक ये वीडियो जा भी रहा है, हम भेज भी रहे हैं, ये लाइव जा रहा है प्रधानमंत्री के ट्विटर हैंडल पे और हेल्थ मिनिस्टर के ट्विटर हैंडल पे, तो हम उन तक ये आपकी बात पहुंचा रहे हैं. क्या आप ये बात कह सकते हैं दावे के साथ कि हमारा आयुर्वेद एलोपैथ से फार फार अहेड है?
As far as homeopathy is concerned, I will say in a different way. Ultimately, treating emergency is a different expertise. It requires specific training. It's more of a postgraduate situation and the hospital infrastructure where you need to treat these emergencies, basically, one. So it's more of a technology involved than the medical skill of a normal family doctor. Two different issues are there. In 90% cases, people are sick, ill, having chronic illnesses, different disorders, and where a family doctor is must. And he can manage all those cases of any pathy. Now your question is 10% of emergencies is an exception. If I say, okay, I have a limitation for to treat an emergency case, that is with all MBBS doctors also. At 11th hour, they have to rush to hospital, to their super specialty, or their hospital wards, or their ICU wards. So that is a technology. And there are many people who are non-medical can manage those things by virtue of that training by the companies. Now, on that background, our issue is very important, a health of a common man in our country, which is not sufficiently empowered by either government or a medical doctor. The reason is that we are mixing the things. Limitation of a doctor does not mean that he is useless, first of all. Secondly, even an average doctor of any pathy has his own limitations, and you don't claim that I am the last person. One. Secondly, as far as homeopathy is concerned, some doctors of ours are managing very unexpected cases, from hemophilia to the cancer. The evidences are there, doctors are there, documentation is there, but you will say exception is for a rule. There is no generalization. I cannot treat a cancer. That does not mean homeopathy cannot treat. My colleague is doing that. So it's the evidence that he is expertise himself by his own talent. You can't discard whole pathy at the cost of emergency. That is a very buzzword. आदमी का मरना ये तय है. अगर इस हिसाब से देखा, what doctors are doing? Are they superhumans to treat the patient? If I treat and he survives, my credit. And if he dies, he was about to die. This is not the way to tackle the emergencies, first of all. Secondly, we are handling emergencies in a negative way. That's the statistical data. People are dying. The doctor knows that he's going to die otherwise also. Are we accepting that? Do we have a courage that, okay, nothing can be done here, let him die peacefully, let him go with his family members? When you say there is a halt from the hospital, I mean the patient's bed to the heaven, the halt is ICU unit. This is said by some good doctors of modern medicine as a contrast. So, do we have a statistical data that how many patients admitted in ICU unit and what is the success rate? There is a question mark. You can ask Dr. B.M. Hegde, one of the last word in their field, that what happens to the other side of the story. So we want to understand what we can do. Instead of cursing a darkness, let's have a simple candle. आसपास के लोगों को उजाला मिलेगा ना, उतना भी काम बहुत है. Point number 1, point number 2, and point number 3 is that as far as integration is concerned, every pathy has different good points. Don't mix them up. जहाँ पर जो सही है वहाँ पर करना. For example, whether Ayurvedic or homeopathy doctor who are responsible, when they have limitations, they refer case to expert. No doubt about that. I am not an ophthalmologist. I am not a child specialist. I am not a gynecologist. I know that. But out of 10, 8 cases I can manage. 2 cases I cannot manage. So I take a...
डॉक्टर सेठिया, तो क्या मैं आपकी इस बातचीत से, आपकी सांसन से मैं एक इंटरफेरेंस ड्रॉ कर रहा हूं कि अगर होम्योपैथिक डॉक्टर या आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर, जहां टेक्नोलॉजी अभी इंड्यूस हुआ है, टेक्नोलॉजी का सहारा लेकर के या उसकी ट्रेनिंग जैसे कि एलोपैथिक डॉक्टर को दिया जाता है, अगर उसकी ट्रेनिंग आपको भी हो जाए, फर्ज कीजिए कि आप एक्सरे की रिपोर्टिंग कैसे हो रही है, तो एक्सरे में तो मशीन काम कर रहा है, उसकी ट्रेनिंग अगर एक आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर को भी हो जाए तो वो भी ट्रीट कर सकता है, एक होम्योपैथिक डॉक्टर को हो जाए उसको भी ट्रीट कर सकता है. सो इफ यू आर सेइंग लाइक दैट द ट्रेनिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड.
Now see, I get an X-ray report. Suppose I get a patient of a kidney stone and he has got a pain. Now I don't know whether he has a kidney stone. It's my clinical understanding. I want to confirm it. So X-ray gives me a guideline that is on the right side of the kidney and there is a pain and all those symptoms are there. So in homeopathy, there is an advantage of knowing that side of the kidney stone. So according to that side, I'll be giving the medicine. Okay, I know the size of a stone. I know the anatomy of a kidneys and ureter and bladder. So I know my limitations. These small stones less than 1 and sometimes more than that by exceptions are managed by my side. One. Now, but there is staghorn kind of a stone which is got lot of say obstructions and it cannot pass through a normal passage. Now here I need the help of surgery. Now no physician of a family level or graduate level can manage that. So here comes surgeon in picture. Mine is a medical branch. In Ayurveda there is surgery as a specialty, but for me homeopathy is a medical branch. We don't have a surgery as a training process. It's just a BHMS का मतलब क्या है? The surgery stop to understand limit. कहाँ पे सर्जरी शुरू होती है और कहाँ पे मेडिसिन खत्म होता है. One important point is that there are many surgical conditions which can be managed happily and efficiently with homeopathy, which is cost effective, non-invasive, they can avoid recurrence also. So why not to give opportunity to homeopaths first to manage these kinds of apparently surgical cases like piles, fissures, fistula, kidney stone, fibroid, so many examples are there. So a small stone of 5 mm you are managing with surgery, is it not a cheating? Do you have a courage to say that no need of surgery, you can manage with either Ayurveda or homeopathy? So many examples can be given like this. So technology for giving us a help, working with as a complementary and working together. In ICU also, there are some patients of coma which our masters have treated. But as far as technical things of ICU is concerned, some kind of emergency aids are concerned, they should be helped by the allopathy experts or the technical experts to us, and we will monitor that case. ये होता ही नहीं है because we are discarded with a bias. You take good brains of each pathy who are responsible, who are academic, who are not politicians, and they can manage this. And if this gets successful, change your opinion. That's the only thing I want to say.
डॉक्टर रामिया, एक बात को मैं समझ रहा हूं कि ये जो इतना जो डिफिकल्ट लाइफस्टाइल हो गया है, अब तो गांव में भी हो गया है, शहर में भी है. अब कोई जो नॉन वेजिटेरियन है या मांसाहारी है, अब वो नॉन वेजिटेरियन के वजह होने से उनको मान लीजिए कि कोई कॉम्प्लिकेशन हो गया. अब हमारा आयुर्वेद तो कहेगा कि हम उसके कॉज एंड इफेक्ट पे जाएंगे. अब इसके कॉज को पहले ठीक करेंगे. प्रॉब्लम ये है कि उसको नॉन वेजिटेरियन होने की वजह से कुछ कॉम्प्लिकेशन हो गया है, तो क्या पहले उसको ठीक किया जाए? यहाँ पे एलोपैथी बाजी में मार ले जाती है और इसीलिए आयुर्वेद के साथ जो है वो स्टेप ब्रदर और स्टेप सिस्टर की तरह व्यवहार किया जा रहा है. या आपको लगता है ये मॉडर्न होने का तात्पर्य, मुझे लगता है ड्रेस से या रिसर्च के मेथड से नहीं होगा. मॉडर्न होने का तात्पर्य ये होगा कि ये जो तरह का समाज डेवलप कर रहा है, उस समाज के समस्याओं के साथ मिलते हुए, जानते हुए आयुर्वेद अपने आप को कैसे एडेप्टेबल बनाएगा. आई थिंक आई गॉट दिस सेंस लाइक दैट. एडेप्टेबिलिटी क्या है आयुर्वेद की, कि अगर कोई बीमार हो जाता है तो हम ऋतुचर्या, दिनचर्या और इस पर चले जाते हैं, तो वो सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं होता है. ऐसी स्थिति में हम क्या कर सकते हैं?
Actually, Ayurveda, the best thing, what I have been researching from 2003 along with my husband, and now we have emerged a new updated version of scientific Ayurveda called SBEBA, Science-Based Evidence-Based Ayurveda. We are having 5 publications also, ISBN publications also, and we are doing the practice of SBEBA. SBEBA is functional medicine of Ayurveda. Functional medicine in the sense, all the modern age patients who are coming to us are not having one disease mostly, irrespective of whether they are vegetarians or non-vegetarian. It doesn't matter. What impact is created in their body only matters. Once a person gets sick, definitely the diet will contribute, but what kind of pathology happened in that person by different means. It need not be by one diet alone. It can be by several factors. So this multifactorial causative mechanisms are working in the patients with comorbid. So many different types of diseases are existing together in one patient at one time. Suppose hypothyroid patient coming with viral fever, he is having diabetes, he is having hypertension also in the moment of examination. So when I am asked to treat viral fever, being an SBEBA practitioner, science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda practitioner, what I am doing is, I'm asking the patient to stop other medications, what he is taking, if he is willing to stop his all the anti-ing drugs, anti-thyroid, anti-BP, anti-diabetic, everything is stopped from day one, and I should be able to integrate the different pathologies. Viral fever is an acute condition, so most importance should be given to viral fever. When I am treating for viral fever, metabolism will be stimulated. This metabolism will help diabetes to also normalize. So this kind of integrating principle we have developed. Me and my husband has developed by SBEBA. So we are giving fragmented dosage medicines. We are giving pinches of 1 or 2 medicines. It's just like very small minimal medicine. FDA, fragmented dosage approach, is introduced in Ayurveda for the first time by us. Nowadays, when you see Ayurveda prescriptions, you will be finding minimum 5 to 10 medicines. This is not Ayurveda, scientific Ayurveda, because scientific Ayurveda advocates principle-oriented diagnosis and principle-oriented treatment. Just like solving mathematics, when you know how to solve problems, we don't need to try different steps. We need to try only the right step and you will get the intended answer. It is not benefit risk. It is only intended answer. So like that, we are adopting such a method. So it is highly cost effective. It is highly fast. We are doing it in infective fevers and all sort of diseases, metabolic,
very good.
circulatory. Yeah.
So therefore, Dr. Ramya, can we demand on this show
Yeah.
that Ayurveda should not be included under WHO umbrella?
Definitely, 110%. Ayurveda should not be included in traditional medicine by WHO. If WHO wants to learn Ayurveda should be, they should come to learn Ayurveda and understand what Ayurveda is. Instead of that, they cannot ask us to do the research which they want us to do. Because Ayurveda has our own, we have our own research methodologies. We have our own scientific methods. WHO thinks that Ayurveda is Jadi Butiyam. That is wrong. That is the problem of WHO, not Ayurveda. Ignorance is the problem of WHO. If WHO knows medicine, they don't know Ayurveda. It is there. If they are interested in Ayurveda, they should be really interacting. They should be ready to receive what Ayurveda is as it is. For that, they have to approach the experts of Ayurveda to understand the scientific background of Ayurveda, research, scope of original research of Ayurveda, the potential of Ayurveda in many conditions, including acute medical emergencies. I'm handling acute medical emergencies and even surgical emergencies like appendicitis, etc. Even many cases which are intended for appendicitis, SBBA practitioners are reversing without any surgery. And many cases, unwanted hysterectomy, emergency hysterectomy, we are able to prevent by scientific Ayurveda guidelines. With FDA approach, fragmental dosage approach, we are able to emerge a society of patients who are healthy, our ultimate aim is to take the patient out of medicine and disease and not to push drugs into them and make them stay on medicine throughout life. Then it is not a medicine.
Your
Medicine
aim is to get patient out of medicine, means the
Correct.
modern medicine, because I got the definition of medicine that medicine
Yeah.
means the science which cures. So therefore, and you are already into business of cures. Therefore, you are out of WHO.
Yeah.
Because
Healing
you
is
are against tablet and medicine, whatever you call it, has become nomenclature.
Not like that. Actually, I would like to correct it because medicine in Ayurveda is, the technical term is Bheshaja. Tadhaiva yuktam bhaishajyam yad arogyaya kalpade. The definition of medicine in Ayurveda is that which is intended to reverse disease and produce health. This is the definition of medicine. And opposite of Bheshaja is Abheshaja. In Ayurveda, it is also mentioned. Abheshaja means two types of Abheshajas are there. One is Badhana, immediate side effect. Second is Sanubadhana, later side effects. And they are recommended to be avoided. Those kind of stuffs which produce immediate or later side effects are not to be used. It is strictly mentioned. And how to choose a medicine, how to apply medicine, everything, scientific guidelines are explained in the science. That's what I'm telling, to explore the patient, to explore the disease, irrespective of name, to explore the treatment principle, everything such a brilliant explanation, which are practically possible. See, I am reversing dengue fever with fragments of a medicine which is 5,000 years old. Can you imagine? Can modern medicine develop such a medicine which can reverse any infection invented before 5,000 years? So I can proudly say that I am using a medicine 5,000 years old, a single medicine to reverse dengue fever. How is that possible?
Ramya, if we are the origin of the science,
Yeah.
so can we say WHO quit India? Or if you want to live in India, you live according to us?
Yeah, definitely. If WHO is interested in Indian system of medicine, Ayurveda, definitely they will have to abide by the principles of Ayurveda. They will have to receive what Ayurveda is. They will have to put a lot of efforts, dedicated efforts to understand Ayurveda, apply Ayurveda. Still, if they want to practice, they have to adopt the infrastructure of Ayurveda and open colleges. It's not any unprofessional means of nowadays. So many unprofessional ways of traditional medicine colleges are practice. I mean, even Ayurveda colleges are there in Europe and all. It is very unprofessional. Everything should be professional and systematic. If they want to globalize it, definitely the original intended methods in Ayurveda is to be adopted.
Right. Dr. Sethia, so what is your take? Can we say quit India, WHO quit India, and we are not here to abide all your guidelines?
No question of quitting or getting inside, as long as your intentions are very clear, your objectives. There are no free lunches in this world. Everybody has his own motive and objectives. Let's that be open first. That are they clear about their thought about homeopathy? As I yesterday told, that there are so many objections and articles and papers against homeopathy from Wikipedia to reference of WHO. They have to withdraw that first and take a very firm stand that homeopathy is an independent science which helps community large, one of the second largest growing system across the globe. That is one. Secondly, many countries are not allowing medicines to be prescribed. One. Secondly, many countries are not having medical education of homeopathy there, and institutes also are closed down. The American homeopathy came down by the masters of multinational companies of pharma. On that back, WHO knows very well all these things. So if they want to start a new chapter with a new intention of helping common man, then they are always welcome, because ours is a pathy which is always at a periphery. But never forget that roles, sometimes add-on therapy, sometimes complementary medicine, sometimes main medicine. So we can play all three roles. We are very flexible as far as our approach is concerned, because we are tailor-made system. Our remedy goes from person to person as compared to generalization in modern medicine. So there are always plus points and minus points. So WHO has lot of networking, lot of acceptance, and lot of political pressure. So that comes in favor of homeopathy, no harm. But suppose you want to make a commercial homeopathy, the market of homeopathy, we are not with you. Because there are two different words. Market is different and mission is different. We are with mission, we are professionals, we are academicians, and I think our country is going towards that kind of a thought process. Then that's a one important thread of health as far as India is concerned. अगर आप healthy रहेंगे तो कुछ कर पाएंगे, और उसके लिए one of the largest homeopathy is available only in India across the globe. As far as colleges are concerned, practitioners are concerned, education is concerned, and acceptance is concerned. So I think this should be given a serious thought, because of number of doctors, number of patients coming to the homeopathy, the typical cost effectiveness. Don't use the word cheap. It's a cost effective method compared to any other pathy. So on this all backgrounds and merits of homeopathy, if they want to take this homeopathy across the country, across the globe, through India, we always say it's good, welcome, no harm. But intention should be very clear, objectives should be very clear first of all, and this among the Ayush doctors and WHO before you go for any resolution at the government level. That's the only thing I have to give my opinion on this issue.
नहीं, मैं तो आज बहुत ही स्पष्ट तरीके से अपने शो के माध्यम से प्रधानमंत्री को यह संदेश देना चाहता हूं, हमें कोई जरूरत नहीं है WHO की, हमें कोई जरूरत नहीं है WHO की, उसके किसी गाइडलाइंस की। हमारे डॉक्टर्स, हमारे आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर्स, हमारे होम्योपैथिक डॉक्टर्स, हमारे एलोपैथिक डॉक्टर्स, सारे लोग विद्वान हैं, कॉम्पिटेंट हैं, हर बीमारी को सॉल्व करने की स्थिति में हैं। अगर वैसी बात होगी तो नेशन टू नेशन हम लोग आइडिया एक्सचेंज कर लेंगे, नॉलेज एक्सचेंज कर लेंगे। यूएस में अगर कोई अच्छी बात हो रही है हम उनसे लेंगे, हमारे यहाँ कुछ अच्छी बात हो रही है तो उनको देंगे। इसके लिए एक रेगुलेटरी, एक स्वयंभू रेगुलेटरी बॉडी की कोई जरूरत नहीं है जो दलाली का अड्डा बना हुआ है, बिल गेट्स के पैसे से चलता है। और उस WHO के खिलाफ हमारी मुहिम जारी रहेगी। इस बिल गेट्स के पैसे से चलने वाले WHO के खिलाफ हमारी मुहिम जारी रहेगी। इसीलिए सनातनी प्रधानमंत्री जी, आप ये गफलत मत पालिएगा कि मुट्ठी भर दलाल पत्रकार, मुट्ठी भर दलाल मीडिया, मुट्ठी भर दलाल पॉलिटिशियन और मुट्ठी भर ब्यूरोक्रेट और मुट्ठी भर बिजनेस घरानों के माध्यम से आप WHO की बात इस पूरे देश पर थोप देंगे और होम्योपैथी, आयुर्वेद और नेचुरोपैथी को हमारे यहां मारेंगे। ये साजिश हम चलने नहीं देंगे। क्वाइव नेटवर्क बड़ी मजबूती से इस साजिश के खिलाफ खड़ा है और एक्सपोज भी हम करते रहेंगे। मैं अपने देश के दर्शकों से आग्रह करता हूं कि इस वीडियो को आप शेयर कीजिए। आप अन्य मुद्दों को तो देखते हैं, जब हम कोई दूसरा मुद्दा उठाते हैं आप देखते हैं, लेकिन जैसे ही कोई ऐसे मुद्दे को उठाते हैं जो आपसे जुड़ा हुआ है, उसको आप नहीं देखते हैं। उसे देखिए, उन पत्रकारों को मत देखिए जो राहुल, मोदी, दूसरा तीसरा, पार्लियामेंट गया, पार्लियामेंट से बाहर आया, ये सब एक ही के चट्टे बट्टे हैं। ना उन पत्रकारों को देखिए, ना उन पॉलिटिशियन को देखिए। असली बात यह है कि हमारे देश को एक साजिश में फंसाया जा रहा है। इसका जवाब हमारे प्रधानमंत्री के पास नहीं है। डॉक्टर रामिया ने कहा कि हम इसके लिए उनको गुनहगार नहीं मानते। मैं भी आपकी तरफ से कह रहा हूं, मैं भी उन्हें बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट देने के लिए तैयार हूं, लेकिन आज का ये शो देखें हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी, और उसके बाद फैसला करें कि आयुर्वेद को हमें किस दिशा में ले जाना है। आयुर्वेद, होम्योपैथ WHO के अधीन काम नहीं करेगा, और अगर WHO को कुछ सीखना है, जानना है, तो हमारे प्रोटोकॉल को फॉलो करे। हमारे डॉक्टर कॉम्पिटेंट हैं, हमारे प्रोफेसर कॉम्पिटेंट हैं। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया डॉक्टर रामिया कृष्णन एंड डॉक्टर प्रदीप फॉर appearing on my India debate show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tomorrow I will appear on 9 PM with another issue. कल रात 9 बजे हमारी आपसे फिर मुलाकात होगी। तब तक के लिए आशुतोष कर्म दीजिए। नमस्कार।